Hi, my name is Blake Allard. I am a fourth year teacher at Wonderful College Prep Academy in Dillingham, California. And this is my application for early completion. Um, I was, the prompt is asking, what is my philosophy of teaching? What is the most powerful lesson you've learned so far as a teacher? And why do you feel you are an exemplary or exceptional teacher? So I would like to start off with my philosophy of teaching. I believe that a classroom should feel like a safe haven where students are free to be their true, authentic selves. And I believe that it should be a place where all students, no matter race, no matter gender, no matter identity, whatever they choose to become, I believe that it is a place where all students can come and feel like their voice is heard, their opinions matter, and a place where they will be fully supported by everyone in the room. To put it short, or to put it simply, my teaching philosophy could be summed up in one word, and that is just giving. I think that students are worthy of me giving my time, of me giving my effort. They're worthy of anything I can give them to help them succeed. If that means, more exemplars, if that means more structures put in place in the classroom, whatever that means, it's me giving myself to them. If they need more of my time, more of my effort, anything, um, that would be my teaching philosophy. I would say that a good example to demonstrate my philosophy of teaching would be what I call in my room phonetic moments. I told my students at the beginning of the year that all of us are at different reading levels because of COVID. Some people didn't read during the break, and so they didn't progress in their reading. Some people read a lot during the break, and so they progressed super far in their reading. And so I told my students, there's going to be times where we read aloud in class, and some of us may struggle with reading, and that's okay. But if we do struggle, let's take phonetic moments. And in those phonetic moments, everyone is going to support you in your reading. If you don't get a word within, 5 to 7 seconds, someone's going to help you sound it out. And I begin to explain to the students that phonetic moments are where you stop, and in the back of your brain, you sound out the word based off of the letters that are there. And so it's created a really beautiful environment in my classrooms, because my students, anytime they get stuck on a word, they feel confident to try and sound it out in their brain. And there's been moments where, 5 seconds has passed and a student has went to go assist another student by saying, uh, it sounds like this, it rhymes with this. Um, and the student is like, give me a second, I think I got it. And so they'll try and sound out the word. And when they get it, the whole class just takes a moment and just claps for that student. And the student at first, they were like, oh, this is kind of embarrassing. And now it's like they're looking for that applause and they're looking for that attention. And so it's created a really beautiful classroom culture. In terms of the most impactful lesson I've learned so far as a teacher, I would have to go back to a student who gave me this little sign. And it says, never stop learning because life never stops teaching. And whenever I first started teaching, I was like, I'm going to come in, I'm going to teach some content. The students are going to get it, and they're all going to be like, you're the greatest teacher ever. And they're all going to be amazed at my teaching. And that is the furthest thing from the truth. No lesson is going to give them what, you know, me being patient will give them, or me being kind, or me being graceful with them, or me extending, grace on an assignment. Um, for the first time in my career this year, I've had to deal with a middle school pregnancy scare. Like, I never thought in any of my years of teaching that would ever happen. I've had to deal with, students who almost got caught up with drug paraphernalia. I've, had to deal with students who, other teachers would consider the trouble kids, which is completely false. Um, and it's very humbling to know where all these students come from and their backgrounds, and to know how blessed some of us really are in terms of comparison. And so, again, I just go back to that quote all the time as that being the most impactful lesson to me is that, life never stops teaching us. And no matter how good I think of an educator I'm going to become, life is going to throw me a curveball. These middle schoolers are going to throw me a curveball, and I'm just going to have to roll with the punches and go with it and, adapt and overcome. And I really appreciate my admin because my admin, they're super supportive and they're always teaching me new things, and I implement it right away so I can try and, help my class or help my students. And so again, just goes back to that, never stop becoming unteachable. As a teacher, you think you may know it all, but that's not the case. You have to be ready to learn again and again and again. And lastly, but not least, the last question is, why do you feel you are an exemplary or exceptional teacher? Now, me personally, I am almost uncomfortable with this question because I don't like to talk up myself. So I'll just give you a few examples from students and what they say about me. So just to give you an example, my first year of teaching, this assignment, just to give you some context, this assignment is dated 12/1 or 12/7 of 2018. And I don't know if you can see that, but this was written by a student who thought that I was leaving, but I left a week early because I got married, and I was prepping for everything. And so this student thought that I left the school and wrote, the sub asked them to write something about their teacher. And this is what the student came up with. The title is "I Want Allard." Now, I won't read everything to you. I'll just read the first part. But it says, "What I learned this semester is that Allard is a really good teacher. Allard was the only reason I actually want to learn history. Allard made every single day I had him an exciting day. Allard knew how to make kids pay attention without being strict. Allard was always in a good mood no matter what. Allard was the best teacher." And I'll just leave it at that. But that was written by a student who had thought that I had left. And when I came back, he was jumping for joy, and it was like the cutest thing ever. But yes, that's the impact that I feel I have on students. I'm not claiming to be the greatest teacher. I don't think I'll ever claim that, but I do think that I do impact the lives and the hearts of each one of these students. And it causes them to want to prove their quality of work to me. It causes them to overachieve and go above and beyond. So for example, I do something called a histogram, where we basically make an Instagram post of history. And so in this case, this student was pretending to be Martin Luther from the Middle Ages, and decided to post the 95 Theses on the wall. And as you can see, they went totally above and beyond. They did so amazing on this. And then on the back, they were writing and answering questions like, who's in the picture? When is this picture taken? What is taking place? Who's the intended audience? Why is this event significant? So on and so forth. And the last example that I want to use to discuss why I feel like I'm an exemplary or an exceptional teacher would be just, I like to think out of the box. I had a really good history teacher growing up, and I want to be like him. And so to give you an example, this last year, we actually wrote an entire book. This was all written and illustrated by students. It was just incredible. It ended up being 69 pages. In fact, the sixth grade got so inspired that they decided to write a book themselves. And they asked for my help on it, and it actually turned out really great as well. And so just being able to introduce history in a new and exciting way has really impacted the lives of my students. And there's really nothing much more that I could ask from that. I just always want to impact my students' lives in a positive way. And if that's got to come from a crazy fun assignment, then so be it. Thank you for considering me for early completion. And thank you.